Hi everybody, welcome back to the Department of Comics. I am your host, Agent DeCamp, and today we're going to do something a little different than what I normally do. We're going to have a talk about the CGC Scandal. And I just want to give my 2 cents in on it and what I think about it. Before we get into that, could you please like the video, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment after the video is over. Tell me if you think I'm right, if I'm wrong, or any other thoughts you might have on the subject. You won't hurt my feelings. I have thick skin. So let's get into the topic here. Okay, as everybody knows, there's a CGC reholdering scam where it appears that somebody has been able to open the bottom of the case here, slide the book out, slide a different substandard book in for the good grade, and then they send it off to be reholdered at CGC, and then they sell it as the comic that it is no longer labeled as. Okay? CGC came out with a list of like 300 different books, and they're all from one person. Okay. Dave over at Comic Investments had a nice little rant about this. He was wondering why CGC didn't notice a lot of red flags going up with somebody having X amount of 9.8s of a 1980s book. How do they have this many in that grade? They're always coming out perfect. Nobody can have that many perfect ones, which does make sense. But you never know where they get them. They might have came across an unopened case, from that year. You never know. It is possible. It's unlikely, but it is possible. Other people were speculating that they were taking the labels out and changing the labels, which I don't think, because if you watch Rick over at Immaculate Comics, he actually shows how it's possible to break into these things and slide the books out. I mean, right here, I just got my fingernails into the bottom. I already separated it. But I think an issue is not the label, because he tried doing the label. That was more difficult, okay? But I can tell you this, I can almost guarantee you from the inception of slabbing comics or cards or anything, the unscrupulous people have already been able to get in them, okay? It's a shame it has to be that way, but like my dad used to say, an old axiom is, locks only keep out the honest people, okay? If a dishonest person wants to get in this case and fraud you, they will, okay? Where there's a will, there's a way. So what they do is they would get a book graded a 9.8. They would have a substandard copy, say with a missing page. Not necessarily this book because it's brand new. But they would have like a Hulk 181, maybe with the coupon cut out. Okay? That was already graded, came back with the purple label saying it was cut out. No, purple's restored. I'm sorry. It came back with the green label saying a coupon was cut out or page missing, yada, yada, yada. They would slide the book out of that. They'd crack open the 9.8, slide the 9.8 out, slide in the one that had the green label on it, and they would send it in to be reholdered because something was damaged in the case. Okay? I really don't think that was the entire thing that happened. I think they did a lot of reholdering because this person got sloppy, but they're not the only ones that were doing it. There are hundreds of people doing this, I guarantee it. Okay? The sad part is, you never know what you're going to get. Box of chocolates, like Forrest Gump said. Now, like I said, they would slide out the 9.8. They would slide in their imperfect version, sell that off, and then they would resubmit their 9.8 to get another 9.8 case back. Okay? But another thing is, though, this person got sloppy with the reholdering. Okay? Because maybe he wasn't that good at it. But I guarantee you there's other people out there that are good at it, and they weren't sending them in to be reholdered, okay? They were just selling them. So you don't know how many thousands of books are out there that are not what they say they are, okay? And that's a real shame. This was talked about by Swaggelhoss. It was talked about by Bry's Comics, Journos, many other YouTubers with comics. And everybody seems worried about that 1-300 list, but they're not understanding that there could be a lot more out there, okay? It makes me, I always wondered right from the inception, unless you break a book open and inspect the book, how do you actually know what's in there? Yes, CGC said, yep, that's a book, okay? This is Wonder Woman 800. That's in there. That's all they guarantee. They don't guarantee this at all, okay? And one place that's evident is if you watch Comic Based TV's YouTube channel a while back, he had one where he talks about how these are actually manufactured collectibles, okay, which is what they are. And he only owns one CGC graded book. It's the Supergirl miniseries from the 90s, the first issue. He bought it at a con because a guy bought it. It was a 9.8, and you could see it had water damage on the book. You could see the ripples. Okay, you could see the damage on the book. You could see ticks, everything, and tell it was not a 9.8. And the guy was complaining at the CGC booth at this show. And Pete, the guy at Comic Race TV, said, well, what'd you pay for that? And he goes, I paid $20 for it. He goes, here, I'll give you $20 for it. So he bought it off the guy for the $20. And he said to the CGC guy, okay, what do you do about this? He goes, what do you care? It's a 9.8. He goes, but you can see it's not. And he goes, it doesn't matter. It's a 9.8. Okay, they're not guaranteeing this. They don't care. So that's one thing you think about. Because even if you go to their website, and let me see how good I am at doing this here. I think I gotta switch to this one, to this one, to this one. There we go. And if you see, it says right here, type of collectible: comic books, magazines, lobby cards, and concert posters, non-CGC signature series, excluding collectibles encapsulated in the red CGC memorabilia label. What is guaranteed? The collectible has been inspected by at least 2 professionals. The collectible is authentic. You see that? Nowhere in here does it say, we guarantee the condition. It's not there. Okay? So let's bring me back up here again, if I know how to do this. And we're going to go there and there. There, I'm back. Hey, like that. Okay? So how are you ever going to know unless you open it up? It's a very strange thing here. And I'm not saying grading books is bad. Okay? People like them. They like to display them like this. It's a snazzy looking thing, I have to admit. Looks cool. Okay? But is it worth it? It's totally up to the collector. Okay? There are collectors that like to have these. There are collectors that don't like to have them. I could care less. To me, this isn't a comic book anymore. Okay? The reason why it's not a comic book anymore is because a comic book can be opened. Okay? A comic book has pages you can look at. There's multiple sides to each page. Okay? When it's encapsulated, it's a trading card. You have the front, you got the back, that's all you can see. You don't know what's inside it. Okay, you can look up a digital copy and see what's inside it, but you don't know what's inside this book right here. Okay? Who's to say that Hulk 181 you bought doesn't just have a reproduced cover and blank pages inside it? How do you know unless you open it? You know, I'm not saying CGC let that go through. Of course they didn't. But the unscrupulous person that got that 6.0 Hulk 181 back slid that little book out, and they had one already made up to go back in there with blank pages inside. How do you know? Because if they already cracked these from day one. You know, I've been telling you that because if they want to get in these and do fraud, they're going to do it. Okay? So if they've already been able to crack these without anybody finding out, they also know how to do the inner well. Okay? They know how to seal the books in the inner well. I'm sure they bought the machinery to do it. Okay? I mean, money can buy anything. Everybody knows that. Okay? So we already went over how they don't guarantee the grade. All they guarantee is that, hey, this is a book. It says it's Hulk 181. It's a Hulk 181. Okay? Even though they are the certified guarantee company, they don't guarantee it. Why was this a good thing to come about? I think a lot of this came about because of, I'm going to use a generalization of eBay, mainly internet purchases. Okay? Because when you're buying from somebody across the country, across the world, a different state, a different town where you can't go see the book yourself before you hand over your cash, okay? You wanted something to say, yeah, that book is in this condition. Because what I say is a fine condition might be very good to somebody else. Or my fine could be very fine to somebody else. You understand what I'm saying? So condition is very subjective, okay? I understand that they go by this digital, no, not digital, decimal system here, based upon what they did in Overstreet. Overstreet went from, the regular, good, very good, fine, very fine, yada, 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 to the decimal system as well. And there are points where they say if it has this, it's this number. If it has that, it's this number. But there comes a point where, okay, it says if it's a half-inch tear, okay, and I'm only getting 7/16. Is somebody going to call that a half-inch tear? Are they actually going to measure that tear? I don't know. It all depends on the person. So, yes, they were good for internet purchases, but like I said, it's nothing that you can really guarantee because the comics guarantee company does not guarantee the grade. Okay? They just guarantee it's the book. They guarantee it's a comic book, and it's what it says here. So, it's kind of hard to say. I don't trust them. I wouldn't buy a big book that's graded. No, I want to be able to open that book. I want to see it. I want to make sure the pages are there. I want to make sure the coupons are in there. I don't need somebody in some little cubicle or in a warehouse somewhere looking through the book telling me what's in there. Okay? Recently, when I went to MegaCon, I got a bunch of slabs, because my wife likes to, do the spin the wheel or pick the number thing or whatever. So we bought mystery slabs, and one of them was a Black Panther, and it was the first appearance of Shuri, but it was an 8.0. Who the hell would send in an 8.0 with a bent corner on it? So it got damaged at CGC, but they're not going to admit to it. They just grade it. Okay, you got an 8.0. We don't know how the corner got bent. What can you do? So, no matter what CGC, CBCS, PGX, EGS, no matter what kind of slab they come out with, because they have to be careful. They can't make these things too complicated because then it becomes too expensive to get them slabbed, which might be a good thing. Because maybe if they're that technical and you can't get them out without damaging something, that would be something for your high-end books. But something like this? No. No, you wouldn't slab something like this. So that was really the only thing I see they could possibly do. Because, like I said, if they get into something that's so intricate, it's going to cost them a fortune to make the slabs. And then it's not going to be cost efficient anymore for people to slab their books unless it's a high dollar book. So until then, you just have to either trust what they do, okay, and hope you don't get ripped off, or just submit your own books. Don't buy any that are already graded because you don't know what you're going to get. Because I would trust them to say that if I sent them in a book, I wouldn't expect them to give me a counterfeit book back. Okay? I would trust them with that. They might damage the book, but they won't give you a counterfeit book back. But the only way to know is if you get a counterfeit book, or if the book is less than what the grade is. Once you buy it, you're going to have to crack it open. You have to crack it open, check it all yourself, and then resubmit it for grading. Okay? CGC needs to change their reholdering policy, definitely, where if you send something in to be reholdered, it has to be regraded. That's the only way they're gonna get over the reholdering scandal, is it has to be regraded. Okay, which is a shame because I've gotten books before in the mail, because I only get these usually if they're a good deal, and it has to be a book I already own that I can open and read myself. I got one before where the corner was mashed. It was all cracked and broken. Okay? And it was a cheap book. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't a Hulk 181, AF-15 or anything like that. It was a book that probably never should have been slabbed. But I sent it in and got it reholdered. And it still came back as 9.8. They didn't recheck anything. They just slid it the inner well out and slid it in the new case. And here you go. So, well, that's my rant on this. So, please leave me a comment, if you will. You don't have to be nice, but don't be crass, okay? Let me know what you think. Because like I said, I'm not against grading companies. If you want your books graded, that's totally up to you. It's not something I wish for. I mean, I'm not going to send any of my books in for grading. But a lot of people do, and a lot of people like the security of them. So, but they're right now they're finding out that there really is no security. There's no security at the price point of what they're doing now. And that's one of the major problems. So, like I said, if you could, give the video a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, please. We're trying to grow here. And, You can hit the bell for notifications. I do videos every now and then. I'll be doing another huge unboxing soon because I got a bunch of stuff in the mail over the holidays. So if I see you next time, fantastic. If I don't, thanks for watching. If you did like the video, could you please let some friends know about it? And keep reading your comics. Have a good day.